the corruption of femininity. The women are being feminine, but they're being negatively so.
I did have a question for you. As a femininity coach, what have you seen normalized that has impacted like the general decline in like femininity in the culture and society? Because right now, I think a lot of men are stating that like femininity is rare to find now in the States. Listen, you here, so you ain't gotta hold it back.
Of femininity, because it's almost a very wide thing in my viewpoint. It's not just one or two little things. But hold on. Don't you hate it when you almost have to sneeze? But anyway, decline of femininity. More than the decline of it, worse than the decline of it has been the corruption of it. The corruption of femininity. The women are being feminine, but they're being negatively so. They're doing all of the things that are negative that are also feminine, because it's not masculine. It's feminine, it's just wrong. They're not operating in a femininity that is positive, helpful, and fruitful. So, and I talk about this. The women of today are operating in a manipulative space. They are operating in a negatively chaotic space. They are operating from these spaces, and they're utilizing these things in a negative fashion, because women in general have always had a finesse to them. That's what femininity is. Femininity finesses. It's not brute strength. It's quiet. It's, subtle more so. To get what we want, we need to be more subtle. We need to go more into that femininity. Some people call it manipulation. The women are doing it today. They're just doing it to the detriment rather than to the benefit of everybody. And it actually took me a while to kind of come to that, because I was more so in the past like, no, these women are being masculine, and to a large degree they were. But as I began to sort of look more into the behavior of today's women, it's feminine, it's just bad. It's negative. They're utilizing the feminine gift in order to be destructive with it rather than productive with it. And I think the number one thing, I always say it, is feminism. Feminism went from, we're going to be liberated, we're going to get jobs, we're going to vote, we're going to do, and it transformed drastically from that to women's sexual liberation. And from there, the women's sexual liberation was really when it was no holds barred. If women decided that since we don't have to have a moral standard, we no longer have to have a societally imposed standard on how we behave sexually, whether or not we are positive pieces of family structures or not, we get to do what we want to do. And you see what women are going to do without any constraint or very few constraints. Women have decided that they're just going to use whatever feminine gifts that they have to their own so-called benefit, which is really to their detriment. That's the trick. The trick and the trap is that it's to their detriment too. The women thought that it was just going to be to their benefit. I get to do what I want, like a child, like a toddler. You know how you have to tell a kid says, I can't wait till I get grown, because they think that they're going to be able to do what they want once they get liberated from the structure and the authority of their parents. Little do children realize that the older you get, the more responsible you actually have to be. and there's more constraint. Your parents might not be able to tell you what to do, but now society has all these different rules, and a different kind of authority is over your life you have to pay attention to, or else you're going to have different consequences. So not at the risk of being long-winded, feminism as an umbrella of an idea caused the literal downfall of women by allowing them and telling them that it was best for them to go into full chaos mode, which is actually quite detrimental to them spiritually, physically. It's detrimental to men because the men have become victims of a lot of different female manipulation tactics. And the community has been at a detriment and a deficit because due to these bad interpersonal relationships that are now coming to a head, no one wants to create family units anymore. No family, no community. No community, no relevance. We'd go extinct because of that, which was the ultimate goal. I hope that I answered your question.
Not only did you answer that very well, I'm thinking about with everything that you just said in the general direction of what's happening with the community, where they've now incorporated and are now functionally in an ideology that's anti everything that's necessary for a community to grow and be sustained. Like you just said, anti-family, anti-children, anti-birth, anti-motherhood. And it's like, you know, anti-femininity or anti the softness of femininity and wanting to get along with men. It's scary to see how women like reacted and received your content, and when you would say and share this stuff. Like what would they say to you?
Oh, in the beginning, I was attacked. Do you understand? The women were not having it. They were not having it. They were not listening to me. They are like, you are just pandering to the men. You are just saying what you think the men want to hear. You hate women. You have a self-hatred. How is it that you are a woman and you are speaking and bashing and talking down on Black women? Are you really Black? You know, I've had all of those different attacks because I'm Muslim now. I'm not Black, and all of this type of stuff. So I have made some. I have a reputation in this space going back a few years, and not all of it is good or gracious. There have been I had a lot of run-ins in the past because I was more fiery actually when I first started. This is the calm me. But when I first got here, listen, let me tell you, I was taking people's heads off on panels. I was jumping on panels specifically to, you know what I'm saying, take somebody's head off because you don't know what you're talking about, and you are misrepresenting women. And I didn't like that. So I was very much more forceful and aggressive during that time. The overall aesthetic has been refined, but the passion is the same that I've always had here. Now, as time has progressed, there are more women who come to my channel who want to listen to what I say. But if we want to break it down analytically, the bulk of my audience is still men at probably about 75 to 80%.
And what's unfortunate is they've been taught by feminism that in order for them to do these things and expect no consequences, it's built in the model, it's built in the ideology. This can only truly work if shame doesn't exist.
Yes.
It's the only way, because the moment shame exists, so many of the things in terms of, like you said, just being reckless with the sex, what they display, how they present themselves in public, how they act towards others, especially men. It's the only way they can do that and be fine with it is if they're in an ideology that says anybody that has something to say against that is trying to bring shame on you and they're the enemy.